Right now, with uncertainty in the coaching staff, there is a lot of negative swirling around the New York Jets. But just like the elite right tackle that Aaron Glenn drafted, Armand Membu, I am going to be pushing back. So let's get fired up. All right, I hope everybody's having a great night. Thank you for joining me. This is Rickie New York Live, and I am Rickie New York.
You've heard of me. Fantastic.
While you're here, please subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit that like button as hard as you can. So there's a lot of negativity swirling around the Jets right now. I have to admit, the Tanner Engstrand thing was a shock to me. I did not see that coming. I was not expecting that. I think Tanner really got a bum rap. I've seen a lot of people saying, criticizing his play calling. The quarterbacks that we suffered through this year did him absolutely no favors. I think it's really hard to evaluate him with this situation the way that it was. When I first heard the news that Tanner was going to remain with the team, but that his role might change, that he might be giving up play calling duties. Contrary to what Aaron Rodgers says, there are no leaks in the ship anymore. You don't hear anything coming out of one Jets drive. We didn't hear about the Sauce trade ahead of time. We didn't know they were interviewing DC candidates until they had already interviewed 8. Like, we're finding out when they feel like it's time for us to find out. So, knowing that there are things going on behind the scenes that we are not aware of, I figured, let's wait and see what this turns out to be. Okay. Who knows? Maybe Tanner says, hey, the fan base is all questioning who's going to develop this young quarterback. Maybe he wanted to give up play calling duties so he could focus on that. Like, I really didn't know what the situation was, and I wasn't going to jump to conclusions until I found out. Now, with the news coming out that they've agreed to part ways, maybe he didn't like his play calling duties being taken away. Honestly, I think it's a shame. It's too bad. But at the end of the day, if we get somebody experienced in here and it improves the team, that's all I really care about. Like, at the end of the day, I just want this team to be good. Now, moving on to the DC hunt. Okay. There have been a couple of names scratched off the board. Durante Jones got a job. But Jim Leonard is still out there. There are some other people out there. Earlier this week, everybody just automatically assumed that we were out of the running for Jim Leonard. He's from Wisconsin, grew up in Wisconsin. He coached at Wisconsin. He's going to want to go to the Packers. Well, Al Harris, who used to play for the Packers, also wanted to go to the Packers. They haven't hired him either. So the thing is, we don't know all what's going on behind the scenes. I hope that we're not out of the Jim Leonard sweepstakes. I would still very much like to see Jim Leonard come here. But the other thing I wanted to touch on is this. Everybody, all the doubters, the Glenn haters, the negative people, they keep saying, oh, this is a clown organization. Nobody wants to come here. Nobody wants to be the DC. But somehow these same people think that if we were to fire Aaron Glenn today, that we're magically going to have Mike Tomlin and Sean McDermott and all these, supposed big name coaches just lined up ready to come here. If we can't even get a DC to come here, how are we going to get a head coach to come here? And this is the thing. I've said it before on this show. I've said it before many times. Okay. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And I'm not trying to blame what's going on anybody, but dude, if we're pumping out content, and some people do shows every day, if you do, a 2 or 3 hour show every day, that's 20 hours a week, 80 hours a month. Just, pumping out the negativity. People out there hear it. Coaching candidates hear it. The funny thing is everybody says that Woody's such a crap owner. Since 1965, when Super Bowl I happened, the Jets have been to the playoffs 14 times. 6 of those times were with Woody Johnson as an owner. 6 of those years. All 6 came within a 10-year period. Now, in the 15 years since then, we haven't been back to the playoffs at all. But that just shows you, 6 times for Woody Johnson as an owner in 25 years, or 8 times in the 35 years prior to that. That would tell me that Woody Johnson owned Jets were going to the playoffs more frequently by average of years than the prior owners. So just throwing that out there. I know we haven't been to the playoffs in 15 years. You know what? The last two years we went to the playoffs were AFC championship games. In the last 30 years, we've been to 3 AFC championship games, more than the Dolphins and Bills combined. You know what? Aaron Glenn hasn't been perfect. He's been far from perfect. Okay. He made some mistakes. But I didn't think there was anything so egregious that it wasn't correctable. Now, what's going on now with the coaching staff, it isn't a good look. I'll admit that. And you guys know me. I'm a big Glenn supporter. I want the team to do well. Okay. The funny thing is if you look at the people who scream the most about firing Aaron Glenn, they're people that never wanted him to begin with. Okay. And this is the thing. If we fire Aaron Glenn today, other coaches who might potentially be looking for jobs, coaches who might be considering a move, are they going to want to come here like, damn, that guy was one of their former players, had all the support of the ownership and everything else, gets a hug from the owner every day, and they canned him after 1 year. What are they going to do to me, who has no ties to the team, if things don't go well right away? You know what? It's not a good look, man. And I want to be able to get people in here. I want to be able to get good people in here. And so I'm trying to put out positive vibes. You know what? If I was the Jets, and this is the other thing too, this is so funny to me. Like earlier today, I heard someone say, if it was me, I would try to move back in the draft to get a 3rd round pick because we don't have one. Really? It's true. We don't have a 3rd round pick. We've got 2 firsts and 2 seconds this year. We've got 3 firsts and 2 seconds next year. It's so funny to me. Like, do people not understand that 2 1s and 2 2s are better than a 1 2 3? Like, that some people's math ain't mathing. At any rate, we've got the ammo to turn this thing around rather quickly, provided we make the right picks, provided we get the right people in here. And that's all I want. At the end of the day, I just want this team to be good. I hope that Aaron Glenn can get it turned around, because you heard in his introductory press conference, he said, out of all 32 teams, this is the job he wanted. It means something to him. He is fully invested in trying to turn this thing around. Our next coach may not be. And trust me, if all it took was for us to scream and yell, fire Aaron Glenn, and we'd get a new coach, Adam Gase would have never made it from his introductory press conference to training camp. At any rate, so today is our last chance to get in on the autographed Garrett Wilson helmet. First person to call in automatically gets in. And the first person that called in today is Lucky.
Hey, how you doing, Rick? It's been a while.
You're in it to win it, man.
I'm actually in it to talk to you, Rick. I haven't seen you in a while.
Right on.
I'm trying to be positive, Ricky. I see what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But every time that we think that we have something positive to grasp onto, Glenn is letting us down. He's letting us down. I mean, you don't fire Engstrand now. I mean, you do it before. You have a plan. You evaluate your team, and then you make your decisions. He's not very decisive in what he's doing. Seems like he's making it up as he goes along. Positive side, like you said, we do have a lot of draft picks. We have something that we can build on. Hopefully, that will be a little enticing to get somebody in the building who knows what they're doing. I don't think that's happening. I think as a long-suffering Jet fan like you see it. Every time we think we hit rock bottom, it's going to be a little bit more rock bottom. I hope we're totally all wrong. I hope that we Glenn has got some sort of weird genius plan, but I don't see it, and it's never been done like this before in the history of the NFL. So I'm looking for that rope, and I think the rope is just an imaginary. It's some sort of fugazi thing I'm seeing.
I'm right there with you, and the process. It's been strange the way things have unfolded. I can only hope that there's something that went on behind the scenes that we're going to find out about later. That we're going to hear it and go, "Oh, damn, that makes sense." Like
I think Glenn is just. I think maybe he's. I don't want to say it, but not 100% right in his head, because it seems like he's going about it, having conversations, and then making a decision based on each conversation. It's like he's doing it on the fly. Is basically what I'm trying to say. It's not like he's has this plan and what he wants to do. He didn't do a good job evaluating if he waits till now to get rid of Engstrand, unless Frank Wright said, "I will take the job, but I have to have total, control of the offense." But then you got to announce it. They got to do the Rooney Rule, all that kind of stuff. But if that comes out that he's there, okay, and then we go get Wink. I mean, which is not the best thing, but at least we'll have some established, offensive, defensive coordinators, and we can start to build from there. Maybe that's his plan, but you still got to go through the motions of the Rooney Rule and interviewing other coaches. That's something we can grasp onto. That's maybe the rope or the string or the floss right now that we have.
The other thing is that that's a good point. Maybe Reich said, I'll come, but I want play calling duties, or it's a non-starter. We could find that out.
Even in the interview process, he could say that, listen, there's no way someone's going to come here to do what you want them to do. You got to get rid of Engstrand and have somebody who has power. That's what they want. They want to have not only the play calling ability, but the offensive coordinator of everything that's involved in it, creating the plays and all that.
Right. And the other thing is that, this is something that has bothered me. Okay. And it bothered me right from the beginning when they hired Steve Wilks. Like at first, initially, I was kind of like Jake and a lot of other people, he's got head coaching experience. He's somebody that Glenn could lean on, if he has questions. And on the surface, it seemed like a good thing. But then when you dig a little deeper and look, damn, everywhere he's been has been a one-year job. Nobody has retained this guy. Then the red flags start coming out. And the thing is ever since Aaron Glenn was hired, people have been like, okay, what are Aaron Glenn guys? Aaron Glenn is known for playing heavy man coverage, aggressive 4-man fronts. And then we hire Wilks, who plays mainly zone.
Right. So what was he thinking hiring him? Is he the only guy that he could get? That's the other thing too. That's puzzling right there too. I agree with you. Two different styles. Why would you do that?
Exactly. And that's why when I heard, Wink Martindale, I'm like, okay, so now we're going to bring in a guy that runs a 3-4 that we don't have the personnel for, and we're going to blow up another part of the team and start rebuilding that too? Like I wasn't crazy about the Wink name when I first heard it. I mean, I know it's a name that people are familiar with, but like that doesn't make it good.
But Ricky, we still have some capital and we have some draft picks that we can make it a 3-4 defense. We can do that.
Yeah,
beyond the realm,
Right, we do, but like I said, we still need another receiver. We could finish filling out this line. We need, more help in the tight end room than just the two guys we got. Like there's holes everywhere. So
right. So you can get Njoku or off of free agency. There's some players you can grab off free agency. I'm telling you, the draft is going to be all young guys on defense. You might get one receiver in that mix, but that's where they're going because that's where we need the most help. You can't keep it close. You can't win a game if you're just going to be like a turnstile. You gotta slow them down, or at least stop them. You have to do something on defense.
I completely agree, and I'll tell you what, that's the other thing is people are like so quick to condemn the Jets about everything, and there's been a lot of talk this week because obviously Sam is going to the Super Bowl. Not only Sam, but Leonard Williams, who played for us, their kicker Myers, who was voted to the Pro Bowl here, and then we didn't re-sign him. We let all those guys walk. Now, at least Glenn, when he let some of our better players walk, he got a haul back for him. He didn't.
Well, Glenn didn't do that. Glenn did.
Well, Muji. But you know what? I give kind of both of those guys credit for things, both good and bad. I think those two are in lockstep with a lot of the decisions that are made. The coaching thing, like, dude, I have no problem with a lot of the moves they made. Defensive line coach, we got no pressure all year. Linebackers coach, man, I would have fired him the day the season ended.
That's
like he
crazy,
wouldn't have made it his car before he was fired. And
he should have done it all right afterwards. Just fire the staffs. We got to retool. That's what you do. You don't do it trickles and wait 6 weeks later. You don't do that. You have the plan, you evaluate, and then you make your decision. Be more decisive in what you're doing. He doesn't seem like he is. Seems like he's on the fly, or he's got a little emotion thing that's going on. I'm not screwed. I'm going to fire him. Or like I said, maybe he got advice from Frank or whoever else is telling him that no one's going to take the job unless you get rid of him. Right.
And I think, and that's the hard thing. I think that he wants to be loyal to his guys that he picked, but at the same time, like, if it's not working, it's not working. And so who knows? Maybe there were some very long conversations about, can we keep this guy? Can they turn it around? Should they even be given the opportunity to? But man, I just look at, some of the other teams in our division, like, dude, right now, it seems like Buffalo is having a really hard time filling their coaching position, and they've got some weird shit going on up there too.
Absolutely. You think we're bad? At least we got one Super Bowl, right? At least we got something.
Yeah. At least we got one.
Yeah.
Could
be 100 years old, and we have to dust it off and get the patina on it.
And we should have had 2 or 3 technically. I honestly
98.
believe 98 should have been our year, and I think 2010 should have been our year too. I'll tell you what, in 2010, if there was another 4 minutes left in that game, we would have fucking won.
2 minutes, 2 more minutes, I think.
We won that game. Yeah, we got down too fast, too quick, and at the end they were coming back and just ran out of time. But
a lot can be done in 2 minutes, right, Rickie?
Yeah, right. But yeah, man, like, and it's tough. And that's the same thing with, like, this year we had no interceptions. Like, you know what? Stiggers would have had one in that one game had Tony Adams not fucking run into him. There was
I think you could have had one.
Yeah, there was another one that he cost as Azaria Thomas. And then there was the one that Thomas had that I really thought was our first interception that year. But then I guess he stepped out of bounds.
The sideline one. Yes, I remember that.
Oh, that friggin' killed me. And so there were definitely opportunities. There were a couple of them that were right there. But dude, you know what? I'm glad you called in, and you're giving me, your thoughts on it. And dude, I don't want people that watch this show just to agree with everything I say.
Right.
Like I want people to have their own opinions. I'm a Glenn supporter. Like I said, I try to be positive, and by no means was he perfect. Like, there were some glaring fucking problems. So it's not like it's just blind faith on my part, but I do want to give him the chance. But like I said, I'm glad to hear differing opinions. Everybody was entitled to their own opinions,
Right.
and
Listen, I hope
yeah,
we parrot.
just don't repeat what I say. Everybody have your own opinions, have your own
Exactly.
take.
I just hope he turns it around because we are stuck with him. He is a former player, and if he turns it around, more power to him, more power to us. Let's go Jets.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's all we can really hope for. And that's the thing is, like, we've already been told he's here for this year. He's not going anywhere. So, I mean, like I said, I don't want to waste, 28 hours a week talking about fire Aaron Glenn when it's not going to happen. We've already been told it's not going to happen. I can find more productive things to do with my time. So the way I look at it is, and you know what? Wait till it gets to be like free agency time. I'll tell you what, these guys that are on social media, I'm going to be tweeting at their asses. Look at the draft picks we got. We are set up to turn this thing around and make a run. And I'm going to try to convince some people to come this way. And,
we might have to overpay too.
Yeah, the other teams picking at the top of the draft that are a mess, they don't have the picks that we have. So, I mean, yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, we got 4 in the top 50 this year and probably 5 in the top 50 next year if the year doesn't go well. So that's a lot, man. That's a lot. And we should be able to do some serious damage. Fingers crossed, man. I hope Glenn can turn this thing around, and I hope we land some good coordinators. I'm certainly going to do my part to see what I can't do to help, even though I'm just one idiot on YouTube that
you got to keep the positivity though, Rickie. You do have to. You got me a little more positive. That's why I want to call in, because I was really down when I heard the news. Really down. And
that's awesome, man. You know what? That makes my day hearing that you called in here because you want to feel more positive. Because, like I always say, I want this to be the place where Jets fans come to feel better, and I certainly try. And
it's Rickie and a little Bud Light, and that's all that works for me.
Right on, man. Hell yeah! But yeah, dude, definitely appreciate you calling in, Luppy. Right. And, man, fingers crossed we'll get this thing turned around. And this year we'll be talking about things in a completely different light, I hope.
All right, Rickie, good talk to you. Talk to you later.
All right, man. Have a great night, man. So, yeah, guys, that's the thing. I try to be positive, and I'll tell you what, that makes my day whenever I hear people say, like, you cheered me up, or, I like listening to your show because you're always so positive, and my day. And I appreciate hearing that. I appreciate all of you guys. And I think I have another caller. Okay. Yep. He's back. What's up, Tommy?
Rickie.
What's happening, buddy?
Damn, bro. I wanted to make that first caller again. I'm just playing.
You're all good.
How you doing, brother? How are you?
So are you going to try out to be our new fullback or what? I see you got the neck roll on. What's going on there?
I used to actually play high school with a neck roll. Crazy stuff. I used to play running back with a neck roll. But my question, Rickie, to you is, okay, obviously at number 2, we're not getting unless the Raiders we trade up like 3 picks or whatever, we get Mendoza. That's not happening. But if we don't get Bain, are we trading back? And are we getting Simpson at 16? I mean, what are we doing?
I wouldn't if I was them. I mean, this is all kind of pure speculation, but yeah, first of all, like, I would not trade a bunch of crazy picks just to move up for Mendoza. If the Raiders are stupid enough to not take him, Who knows? Maybe they want to re-sign Gino for a year and wait till next year when it's supposed to be a better class. I mean, if I was them, I would take them. But dude, the Raiders are another stupid team that does stupid things. It's not like we're the only one. So anything can happen. It's rough, man. This class, I mean, there's a lot of good players in this class, but when you're talking about like the true blue chip can't miss type players, there's really only maybe a dozen of them. And I don't know if anybody's going to value one of those guys enough to trade up to 2 with us. So I don't know. As far as Simpson goes, no. I mean, if he was there at 33, maybe I'd think about it. He won't be. But I definitely wouldn't take him at 16. Honestly, I mean, if it was me personally, I probably wouldn't take any of those guys that are available early on at all. I'd probably take a, very late round dart throw, whether it be Sawyer Robinson, Cade Klubnik, like one of those type guys, maybe. And at worst, you got a long-term backup. But I'm not really crazy about any of the guys that would be at the top. If it's me, I would rather wait a year. Darian Menzel will be coming out next year. Jaden Mayava, 2 guys that I really, really like. And also, of course, Dante Moore. And who knows, maybe Lenora Sellers can get it together and rehab some of his value. It's not looking like it. I thought that last year, and man, he just, God, he reminds me of Justin Fields, like hanging onto the ball forever. And, his biggest threat with him is him running on you. Like, man, it just reminded me so much of Fields. And I'm like, you know what? Been there, done that. I'm good with that shit. I don't need any of that. But, yeah, man, if it was me now, if they could trade back from 16 or 33, which I didn't know this, but it makes perfect sense. Like 33 is the first pick in the second round. I did know that. That's not what I'm saying. But that turns out that is the most traded pick in the history of the draft, is that first pick of the second round, because it's basically like another first rounder. I didn't know that. So that being the case, there's a good chance maybe we can trade back from that pick. I wouldn't mind just to pick up, more assets. And it isn't because we don't have a third. Like, that drove me crazy when I heard that today. But we should trade back because we don't have a third. We got 2 firsts and 2 seconds, dum-dums. Like that's better than most teams. So it doesn't matter if we don't have a third. But the thing is like when I've been doing mocks and stuff and looking at things, it seems like I can fill most of the holes except for 1 or 2. Like, there's still 1 or 2 things that I didn't get done. But if I trade back and pick up an extra pick or 2, I can fill all of them. And what can I say? Yeah. I like to fill all the holes.
So, Rickie, what I'm saying is, would you trade that number 2 pick to get more picks?
Yeah, if I could, I would, depending on how far back I was moving.
So Bain, you're saying to me, like what I'm saying, like when I ask people if you want to trade back, so Bain, who is going to be our number 2 pick, obviously, like Bain's going to be our number 2 pick defensive rusher. If the Jets do not think that they want him, and he's not, I know they say his short arms. When they say short arms from Ohio, he's from Miami. I'm sorry. Miami. But I think Vernon Golston, like with short arms and did nothing. Vernon Golston just was a complete.
Well, yeah, but then you could look at guys like Melvin Ingram that played for the Chargers for damn near a decade, and he had short arms like that, and the guy was a terror. So, I mean, there are traditionally guys with shorter arms don't do well at the next level, but that's not to say all of them. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't crazy about Ruben Bain to begin with, but the more that I watched him, and this is going to sound funny because when you say Ruben Bain, you think pass rusher. But you know what actually kind of swung the needle for me with him was his fucking run defense. Man, that guy's a beast against the run. Like he plays the run really well. And so That was my thought there. And Rick Kent just made a good point. Like you got to have a partner to trade. Like it takes two to tango. Like we can talk all day about trading back, but unless there's somebody that wants to trade up, you're kind of stuck where you are. And that's why most of the time when I do mocks, like I always stick and pick. I never make trades. Once in a while, if I make a trade, I'll accept one that's offered to me. But like, dude, there's nothing worse than like, I saw some mock that got posted today. And dude, I don't know how the fuck this guy ended up with a mock that looked like his that did. The only thing that I can think is that he drafted for all 32 teams and picked like nobodies for the other 31 teams and just the guys he liked for his team, because he was getting like second round talent at like pick 250. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way that guy would be there. Like how did this person even manage to pull off a mock that looks like that? And if you're doing that, that's like and I'm sure you know a guy like this, because we all know a guy like this. You go over to one of your buddy's house and he's like, oh yeah, man, we'll leave as soon as I'm done with this game of Madden. I got it on franchise mode and they're setting all these, and dude, you can tell that he's got it on like beginner level and he's just like whooping everybody because like it ain't like that. And you're like, okay, dude, like, yeah, you're really accomplishing something there. Like, why waste your time? Like, I guess the point is, unless you're being realistic about it, why waste your time? Like,
So Rickie, my main question is to you. Okay, number 2 pick, right? Where we go, and I know we need, in your opinion, number 2 pick, where we go, and do we trade out of that number 2 pick, and what do we do? Basically, what are we doing? Like, are we drafting at the end and then second 2 getting a wide receiver or maybe a linebacker, or what, in your opinion, you think at 2,
okay.
16, and 33, in your opinion?
Okay, if it were me, and granted it's not, but if it were, if I was stuck picking at 2, I would probably take either Reuben Bain or David Bailey, depending on who the coordinator is and what defense we're going to run. At 16, dude, I'll tell you what, if by some miracle we got to 16 and Sonny Styles, the linebacker, was still there, it's not even a discussion. You run that card in as fast as you possibly can. I doubt seriously that'll happen. So if it's me, I consider taking a receiver there, or I might take like the big guard from Penn State, Olivenga Aoni. At 33, I would probably take like Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle from Texas Tech, have our Quinnen replacement, real good against the run and offers some pass rush too. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the route that I would take. Now, in a perfect world, I'd like to bring in like Romeo Doubs this offseason, have him as the number 2 across from Garrett, and then not even have to worry about receiver. In a perfect world, but it's not a perfect world. So we'll see what happens. At some point, I am going to do some mocks on the show, and I'll do one myself, and I'm going to let you guys do one too, where you can vote on what positions you want to take and what players you want to take. But
Rickie, last question, unless you get to more callers. Do you think that we draft a quarterback in this year's draft, and at what round, in 3rd or 4th or 5th? And I'll let you get to other callers. And God bless. Love you, Rickie.
Yeah, I think they will take one. Now it remains to be seen if they'll do that early, like a Garrett Nussmeier or something, or if it's going to be, a real late round guy like Sawyer Roberts or something. But I think we are going to add a quarterback, period. So, it just remains to see which route they're going to go. If they're going to try to look for a starter or maybe more of a developmental backup type guy. So we'll see how that turns out.
His name's Nussmeier.
Nussmeier. Garrett Nussmeier.
Nussmeier. He's supposed to be in the third or fourth.
He looks like he's going to be maybe late second, early third right now. Teams could overdraft him, but if he's sitting there at 33, if the Jets are going to take a guy this year, I would probably take him there.
1,000%. Rickie, you said it to me 1,000%. If he's in the third round, you draft up and get him. Get him. See what he is. Even if he's not a great quarterback, develop him, see what he could be.
Yep.
Rickie, God bless. New York Jets, 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 Jets. Let's go, baby. Rickie, one love to your show. God bless everybody. Subscribe to Rickie New York. One bless. One love.
Thank you, Tommy, man. Have a great night. Appreciate you. And hell yeah, man. That's what we all want. We just want the Jets to be good. Yeah, what's happening, man?
Rickie and Y, what's up, brother? How you feeling, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, just got in from basketball practice. It was a long day, but I came in, made sure little man was good and all that. So jumped on to YouTube and see you got a live show, man. So it's like, you know what? I haven't called in a Rickie's show, so I just wanted to see if I could smoke and debate, man.
Dude, you can smoke and debate anytime with me. Absolutely. When I first saw like the little thing down there at the bottom, I didn't realize who it was calling because it wasn't your name, and my eyes aren't as good as they were when I was young, so I didn't know who it was until you popped up. But man, awesome to see you, dude. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. And just for the record, man, I have a lot of love for you, man. One of the times where I was like, oh, this guy Rickie got my back was a couple years ago on BG show where Alan, he came at me a little crazy or whatever. We're cool now and all that, but he kind of came at me a little crazy, and you had my back then. So and I didn't even know you like that, obviously from Jake's show and everything like that. So I felt like, damn, I'm like, okay, Rickie got my back. I'm like, yo, he's a legend in the community. So it's like, it all takes is one time, man. You have my back once, man. You got me forever, man.
Well, I appreciate it, man. That you know what I don't even remember that, but that sounds like me. And dude, I think we've all kind of, probably gotten into it with Alan somewhere along the lines because he can be real negative. You know what? I can tell you right now, I don't know who the next Jets coach is going to be after Aaron Glenn, but I do know that Alan is going to want him fired. Like I can already tell you that.
Here's the thing. It's tough for me to get on board with tanking for next season. Like, the only thing for me is like, if we perform poorly, then it's like, yo, I want Tomlin. Like, that's the only kind of thing I could see out of this. All the other quarterbacks, it's kind of tough for me to start doing that now. But Allen, he's been tanking for like 4 or 5 years that we know of. He's ahead of the curve when it comes to tanking.
Yeah, he definitely is. And like me and Alan butted heads like when I first kind of encountered him on the YouTube shows, and it was just because he was like always wanting to play that villain role, and it's like, dude, do you not understand that like away from YouTube, away from the computer, there's a lot of people that have a lot of problems and a lot of shit going on in their lives, that life gives you enough negative as it is without us just trying to make shit up to make people more miserable. And on top of that, like, really, dude, that's your goal, is to see if you can make Jets fans miserable. That's not a very high fucking bar.
And that's the thing, like with this season, I'm like, damn, man, like I'm starting to agree with Alan. Right, with this past season, I wasn't in the greatest of spirits, man, just with, how everything went. I think that's most of us. No, most of us can't say that we were happy with how everything went, but it's like, yo, come on, man. Like, what we saw on the field. And a couple days ago, I call in to Jake and BG, and it's like yo guys, like I'm going to these games, man, and it's like, yo, it's not even competitive. Like, it's seriously not competitive. It's not. And the ones
Yeah.
that I the ones that I did go to that we won, the Browns and the Falcons, I was happy about that. But then it's like, the other cats, the tankers or whatever, they're like, you was happy about us beating the Falcons, Chef? You was happy? I'm like, yeah, I was, in the moment, of course, I'm like, I'm
Of
rooting for the
course.
team. I want to see wins. I want to see some production at the beginning of the season before we even played Pittsburgh. I'm like, yo, it's an evaluation season. Like, that's that in my head. It all right. I had 6 wins. I didn't think we were going to be under 6. I thought, like, all right, maybe I'm a little under or whatever. We might get 7 or 8 or whatever. I thought 6 was fair, only because of the previous year we had 5. So I'm like, yo, if we're going to get rid of Salah, which I didn't think was the right decision to do at that time, we got to get more than 5. But all right, we didn't. Okay, but at least let's see a little bit better production on the field. That was like the coaching too. The coaching was just like come on, man. And then the decisions making, and then the things that was being said in the media and all that. I'm like, yo, I'm telling you, Ricky, man. It's like, yo, I appreciate you, having your positive spin and all that. Like, it ain't no shade at all, man, because it's tough to have that, right? Like BG, it's tough. And I'm like, yo, I'm watching this stuff play out, and I'm like, yo, it's getting tired. Yo, it's getting tiring, man. It is, and it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, all right, I'll be another kind of fan, a fan of another. Yo, I can't, man.
No, yeah,
It's
yeah. Dude, that thought has never crossed my mind. Like, to just go somewhere else and root for some other team. Like, because when I picked the Jets to be my team, like, it literally had like nothing to do with that with football at all. It's kind of a crazy story, but it was more like listening to Curtis Martin, listening to him talk. And at that point, I was a new father, newly married, all that kind of stuff, and was kind of deciding what type of person I wanted to be. And for whatever reason, listening to him talk, he just struck me different than most of those guys when you listen to him talk. So like it was all kind of about character and who I wanted to be, and that's how I picked my team. And so yeah, like I've never thought about giving up, but dude, it's tough, man. Like there were some disastrous things that happened this year, and dude, like a couple of those games, Pittsburgh game, there were a couple of games early in the year that we probably should have won. So the record probably shouldn't look quite as bad as it does. Like dude, the Tampa game, like I literally thought that Will McDonald play won us that game. And, there are other people who are like, oh, as soon as I saw, a minute left, I knew we were losing. And it's like, dude, maybe back in the Brady era when we were playing him, I would have thought that. I wouldn't have thought that now, though. And it's too bad that so many of the fans have that mindset. But I guess if anything, I'm just like trying to break that cycle. Let's get this fan base to get behind the coach. Let's be more positive. And dude, what if these DC candidates, are on their way home and they turn on sports radio and all they hear is Jets fans talking about our owner's a clown, this organization is a bad. Like, people aren't going to want to come here. Like, if they heard us calling into shows and we're like, bro, we got a coach that's a former player that knows fucking ball, and we got fucking, what is it? We got 4 this year, 5 next year. So yeah, in the next 2 years, we probably got 7 top 50 picks. We got the ammo to build something special here. And like, they might hear that and go, damn, man, like, he's right. They got a lot of fucking ammo. This is a real good opportunity. Me, in my heart as a Jets fan, I'm really hoping that Jim Leonard takes being a former Jet as personal as Aaron Glenn did, and he'll want to come here. I'm hoping that door isn't closed, because when I heard earlier in the week, like people acting like he's just automatically going to Green Bay, like I thought some report had come out. And then when I find out it's just because he's from Wisconsin and he coached at Wisconsin, like that's not reporting. That's rudimentary.
Did he get an interview with them? A first interview?
Not as far as I know yet.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear anything either. I
No.
guess that was just like whispers or something. I don't really know.
That's just like people thinking that every former Lions player is going to follow Glenn here. Like somebody said that the other day, like, oh, when we hired Glenn, none of the Lions players followed him here.
It was just Reynolds.
Yeah, which Reynolds did, but
he was on the other side of the ball.
The other thing is that when you looked at the Lions players that were free agents that year, dude, it wasn't no fucking Jamar Gibbs or Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, it was a bunch of bums. Like I'm not happy that bad players didn't follow him here. Backup players didn't follow him here. That didn't bother me. But, dude, I do think that we need to get more Glenn-type guys in here. And if I did have a criticism, which I was talking to Luppy about this earlier, it's like Glenn was known for, 4-man front, heavy blitzing, heavy pressure, lots of press man. And then he hires a DC that runs mostly zone. And, the whole same thing with, them talking about Wink Martindale. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, if we got Aaron Glenn as a coach, why aren't we playing like an Aaron Glenn system and bring in Aaron Glenn guys? Like, we drafted Azaria Thomas because he's a big, lanky, physical man corner. And then we play all zone. Like, it just didn't make sense. So if there's one thing that I would like to see, it's for Glenn to like stop trying to fit the square peg in the round hole. Bring in you're Aaron Glenn. Bring in Aaron Glenn guys to play in an Aaron Glenn system. Like, don't turn the reins over to some other guy and then try to blame it on him when shit goes wrong. Like, do it your way. Let's see what you're known for, what got you to this point, not something else.
That secondary that we saw this year, like the D line did us no favors, man. When you have zero pressure, when you don't get the sacks, man, like you're making your secondary overwork. And that I think was a large part of us not being able to get any kind of picks whatsoever, because we have Clemens. Phillips, I'm not sold. I don't know where you at on Phillips, but when I watch him play, when I look at the stats, I'm not seeing a difference maker. Is he okay? Yeah, he's okay, but he's not a game wrecker, dude.
Yeah, he's and granted, I think he's, probably more there for the run defense as opposed to pass rush. That's never really been his thing. But, dude, I completely agree. Like, all of it, everything in football. Like, pass rush helps your secondary. If secondary's got guys locked down, it gives the pass rush time to get there. They go hand in hand. And it's same thing on offense. If you can't run the ball, then play action doesn't work. The two kind of feed off of each other. So, and that's why you hear people talk about complementary football. All of it is complementary. Like, that's everybody doing their job. And when you've got weak links or several weak links, as it turns out, but this is the thing too, is, you know what, Villette, that's not necessarily true.
What did Villette say?
I clicked on the wrong comment. That we got the worst defensive tackle game in the room. I'll tell you what. You know what? Briggs, after we acquired him, from the time we acquired him till the end of the year, for last season was 4th in pressure win rate in the entire NFL, behind only Ed Oliver. Anyways, he was 4th. There were only 3 guys ahead of him. You know who one of those guys that was ahead of him wasn't? It wasn't Quinnen Williams. So I'm not buying all that. Now, could it be better? Yes, but I don't know about the worst in the entire league. But
and so so we're in agreement with the defensive line play for the most part. How it's just like not really good. That's one of the things that in the years past, like we had some studs. So for me, you know, I know it's painful for you, Ricky, Seminoles guy, but like Bane, I really see him somebody that we could keep outside, move him in, switch it up with the stunts. Like you
Oh
just
yeah.
can't do the same old power run through, spin move, rip, swim. Like you can't do the same stuff. You have to go from left to right, right to left. You have to adjust, man, and not be so damn predictable all the time. Just rushing the same four. Like it got to be coming from different angles, different linebackers, different corner. Like you got to change it up. The vanilla stuff is just like, yo, driving me
Yeah.
crazy where I want to bang my head through a wall. It's like, change it up. I see Bane. Are you there? And then what do we do at 16? Because we need offense, man.
Honestly, if I could, I would probably move back from 16 if I could. I'd like to move back from either 16 or 33, but I would take Bane right now. If we're sticking at 2, I would, unless we bring in a coordinator that's going to run like a 3-4, in which case I would probably take Bailey. But I completely agree, man. We got to get some pressure on the quarterbacks. Like, you know, when I became a Jets fan, we had okay guys, but then, dude, like I remember when we drafted, you know, Ellis and Abraham in that same draft, and dude, John Abraham is like one of my all-time favorite Jets. That motherfucker, he could take over a game. Like when he got hot, he could literally just take over a game and wreck it all by himself.
Throwing people out of the way.
Having a guy like that.
Yes. Like Mosley, he would engage and then throw people off. Like his leadership, his physicality, dude. Yeah, the last couple years, you know, you could tell a little bit of his age, a little decline. But my God, was his presence missed this season?
Oh
and I
yeah,
think that's why Quincy and Sherwood were successful in the previous years because of that leadership and guidance.
I do too. I do too. I mean, you know, everybody hears like, oh, he was the leader of our defense, and I think they just think that that means like he's a rah rah, let's go guys type. But no, like dude, he was getting the play calls, you know, making the calls on defense, making sure guys were lined up in the right spots. And dude, there were a lot of times this year where guys were not in the right spots. The other thing that drove me crazy this year is we got 2 undersized linebackers that both of them, their best attribute is probably their speed.
Yep.
And we never fucking blitz them.
No.
When we're not getting any pressure from our front 4, we're still not blitzing these 2 fast linebackers we got. It drove me nuts. And the few times that we do let Quincy blitz, he would get home. So it's almost like, okay, well that works. Let's not do that again. Like it was fucking really aggravating, man. I'm gonna bring in one more caller with us because he's been back there for a while, and I'm gonna let him join the convo if you're still there, Johnny.
Yo, what's good? How we doing tonight, boys?
Good, man.
Hell yeah.
Good.
Man.
You already know, Chef Kev. Throw it to you, baby. Let's
Come
go.
on, let's go.
Let's go. Damn, you kind of just threw me in here in the middle, but I thought Chef Kev was cooking right there. You know, obviously I like my boy Ruben Bain at 2. My only thing is, I think like Ricky said, you know, it obviously depends on what system we're running, who fits better. It also depends on what you value more, right? Like, do you value a guy who's going to get you straight sacks, right? David Bailey come in on 3rd down and just get after the quarterback, right? And that's all he's going to do. But if he's really good at it and he can get 15, 23 like a Myles Garrett, you'll take that, right? But I think for us, for what we need, because we have so many damn holes, you got to just take the best player, man. It don't matter who it is. If AG believes it's Caleb Downs, you take Caleb Downs. That's it, bro. I don't care.
Yeah.
If he thinks it's David Bailey, take David Bailey. If he thinks it's Ruben Bain, take Ruben Bain. I'm all about best player available at number 2 because I think, like you guys were talking earlier, right? Are the Raiders really going to pass on Fernando Mendoza? Probably not, right?
Probably not.
Like probably not.
That's a fairy tale to believe that the Raiders would just be like, you know what? Go ahead. Here's Mendoza for you, Jets.
Yeah.
Come on, no way. I can't be consumed in literally believing that. If it happens, Dude, I'm ecstatic. My head might
So
explode.
now my question to you, Chef Kev, right? You're the Jets, and let's just live in this hypothetical world for a second. And let's say Mendoza does fall to 2. Are you taking Mendoza?
That ain't happening.
In a
Let
No,
me
no, no.
heartbeat.
I'm
argue.
just
He's
I
saying
feel you. I feel you,
hypothetical,
Ricky.
Ricky.
I'm just saying
L-
like in the 4% world where the Raiders pass on Mendoza, would you take it?
In a heartbeat. Yeah.
In
But
that
then
4% world, though, the Raiders aren't going to pass on him and then just leave him there for us to pick. If the Raiders pass on him, they're going to trade out a one with somebody.
they would definitely trade
With
out.
somebody up? Yeah, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Now,
sure.
the thing is there's a guy on YouTube. His name is JT the Brick. Similar to Jake, he's a talk radio guy. He was on Fox Sports Radio for
Hi,
years.
Leanie.
I listened to him, and I used to be one of the callers that would call into his show. I got to meet him when they had the Super Bowl here in Tampa, not the last one, the one before that, the Santonio Holmes catch Super Bowl.
Hell yeah.
And dude, he was like super cool, but he was a Raiders guy that was in Vegas then, and now the Raiders are actually in Vegas where he is. But he's got his own YouTube show now, and dude, there is like nobody, and I mean nobody, plugged into the Raiders like this fucking dude.
Yeah.
And so, like about 2 weeks ago, I was listening to one of his YouTube shows, and I was actually typing to ask him that exact question about Mendoza, and he was like, "Now, if the Jets called and they wanted to trade up, and we weren't 100% sold on Mendoza, say they're offering us number 2, number 16, and a first next year, we're going to have a conversation, but that's going to be where I would start at." And I was like, yep, I'm out. Fuck that.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was asking because it's like how much do you value Mendoza? Like I don't think he's a 1-1 type of guy, right? But when you need a quarterback and he's the best quarterback available and you're the Raiders, you're kind of in a pickle because you kind of have to take him no matter what, right? But I'm wondering if they do decide to slip on him, if you're the Jets at 2, again, I don't know that Mendoza's that guy, and but it's hard to pass on a quarterback. So I'm very conflicted on that. You
He's
know what I
not
mean?
generational. He's not the next coming of the quarterbacks, but he's a
No.
solid quarterback. He's in a
Facts.
he was in a great system with great weapons around him, but it's not like you could take him out, put whatever person there, and that whatever person will play it at the same level as Mendoza.
Facts. Yeah.
I don't believe that. He makes good throws. He's
Yeah.
not a good scrambler. That fourth down in the natty was just insane, and he's not going to do that during the regular season in
No.
the NFL. So, that was just a once in a lifetime kind of thing.
Dude,
He's a pocket dude.
Do you
You had
remember
to bring that up, Chef Kev. You had to bring that up.
Ran in about 12 yards and he was carrying the ball like it was a fucking loaf of bread, and we
Well,
were all like, oh, but he made it, scored the touchdown.
Every time Mendoza runs, bro, he runs straight up and down. He runs with the ball out like a loaf of bread. That man, he's gonna get killed in the NFL, bro. He's not
gonna do that. He reminds me of Eli, man. He'll take it down.
When have you seen him slide, Chef Kev? I've never seen him.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I've never seen him slide.
But he falls. He just falls down. That's what he does. Or he's out of bounds.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I think he could be an okay starter. But that's where I'm like 1-1, bro. I'm taking an okay starter, a guy that is just that I think can be a starter.
That's
he could be like a lesser Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. I can see that, or like a lesser Matthew Stafford. Like a
a lot lesser.
I ain't giving him that. Stafford is a beast, man.
Stafford is a beast. Absolutely.
I've always liked Stafford. So, but yeah, like the Jared Goff comparisons aren't out of hand. Like I think his ceiling is probably a Trevor Lawrence, and I don't know. Like, dude, I have a bad feeling that Mendoza's going to get there. He's not going to have anything around him to help him out, and it's going to be like Darnold was here, which, dude, oh my God, if I have to hear one more fucking time about
revisionist history about Darnold. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, like,
all right, guys, you won't get it out of me then.
I
love the guy.
Hey, we all love him, Chef Kev. We all love him. Don't get me wrong.
there's 3 other teams that gave up on him too before he finally landed where he is.
And Kevin O'Connell, everybody's all up his asshole about how he's such a good coach. He's so good with quarterbacks, all this stuff. He had him in Minnesota. He let him go. And then he goes to San Francisco. He's with Kyle Shanahan. He let him go. So everybody talking LOL Jets, all same old Jets, all this bullshit. What happened there? What happened in Minnesota? What happened in San Francisco? Nobody wants to bring that up. They just want to bring up, oh, LOL, look at him in Seattle. It's like, bro.
Minnesota, he had good weapons there.
Of course, bro. He had Justin
Jefferson.
Jefferson, bro. He had the best wide receiver in the fucking game. Sorry, Ricky.
Yep.
Sorry for cursing.
No, it's all good. Shit, you know what? You're allowed to curse here. I mean, it is a family show. We don't get vulgar just for the hell of it. But dude, we're all adults, and like I've said a million times, if you're a Jets fan and you got kids, them kids have probably heard some bad words. It's all good.
Just a few. But hey, Ricky, I gotta head back to work, man. I just wanted to call in real quick, say what's up, touch base with you. Also wanted to get your thoughts on Darian Mensah coming to the University of Miami. How you think the ACC is gonna shape up this year? I'll leave it to you, boys. Ricky, you're the best, man. Have a good night, bro.
Right on, man. Appreciate it, Jets Johnny. That's just for you. No parrots here. Everybody allowed to have their own opinion. But dude, I think Mensah's going to do real well there. He was my number 2 quarterback before he went back to school. I was bummed when he went back, but it is what it is, you know. I think Mensah will do well there, though. And hey, wish him the best. We'll see him at some point. And as for my own team, you know, we had a kid that was like a developmental kid. Then we got the kid from Auburn transferred in, and I thought, okay, maybe he'll be the guy. But it turns out we got this kid from JUCO that was the JUCO champ last year. That I think he's going to take the starting job from both of them. Like this kid, Malachi Marshall. He looks really fucking good. So we'll see. Just like the Jets, my team had a lot of problems, and a lot of the same problems. Horrible linebacker play, no pressure on the quarterbacks, like a lot of the same problems. Like we didn't have the quarterback issue, but we had plenty of other issues. Be nice to, you know, be able to have one of my teams not be a mess for a change. But dude, that was the thing too. Like the year that Rodgers got here, Rodgers gets here, couple plays in, he gets hurt, out for the year. Meanwhile, like Florida State had an undefeated season, and Jordan Travis gets hurt at the end of the year, and we get left out of the playoffs. Like, dude, could you imagine, like, Broncos fans if the NFL just went, yeah, you were going to the AFC Championship game, but you lost your quarterback, so we're just going to leave you out and put somebody else out. Like, dude, fans would fucking riot. Like,
nah, I'm going to be crazy.
Dude, it's so funny, like how so many NFL fans thought it was like okay for Florida State to get left out of the playoffs after having an undefeated season. But dude, if they did that to their NFL teams, they would lose their frigging minds. And that was brutal. And I get the decision, but man, the college playoffs, like I don't know. It's strange, man. Like I don't like seeing teams with lesser records get in. Like that's just me.
I'm not even going to lie, Ricky, man. Like, with college ball, I watch it not to your level. It's just my Saturdays consists of work and also coaching football. So it's like, you know, pretty challenging. But I do follow Miami. I'm like, we got an outside puncher's chance of actually getting into the playoffs. And we did. I really didn't think we really should have been there like that. But you know, I'm not going to obviously argue against it. And then they just got hot. They just started clicking, and it was the defense. All right, I like Beck.
That defense was good.
I don't think Beck is like a first, second kind of cat. Maybe not even a third, but I think he will be serviceable in the NFL. You just got to be in the system. He does have guts, man. Like against Indiana, who has another good defense, man. He threw one bad ball at the end. Other than that, man, like, if you watch the game, he was doing all right, man.
Mhm.
Couple of bad drops, man. Like he's not bad. It's in this draft. I really don't see us having a answer for our quarterback situation. It's honestly when it comes to position groups, offense and defense, I think most of us will agree it's offensive line. And then after that, like if my boy Brees is gone, then I don't feel good with the running back room, especially with Braylon coming back off an injury. Then who else? What other position groups do you feel good with? Like I'm not happy. I'm not comfortable. I don't think the draft is gonna solve a lot of stuff. The free agency, I think, especially now since we don't know who our coaches are for offense and defense, it's like, in limbo. These other teams are now getting ahead on these free agents, knowing that these other teams are better stabilized than we are. And it's just, it's kind of frustrating on my part seeing how this is kind of like crumbling in my eyes. You might see it differently, but it's, the stability piece, and then knowing that we need to build this through the draft and free agency. It's like, it's going to take a couple years, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely true. And like, I'm just going back to, once again, like we don't know a lot of what's going on behind the scenes. In years past, everything that was going on would have been leaked out by now. But we really don't know. So I'm kind of hoping that it turns out like slow and steady wins the race, but we'll see. They got to get the hires right, but, dude, I'll get more into this, at a later date. Like I said, I'm going to do some mocks here on the show and kind of I'll probably do a couple of different ones. I'll probably do one like say, okay, in this instance, say we get like Linderbaum in free agency and we don't have to worry about center. Say we, re-sign Simpson or AVT, one of the two, and we don't have to worry about line at all. I'm going to draft like that. Or say we bring in, a Romeo Dobbs and we don't have to worry about receivers. I'm going to mock like with that in mind and lay out like a couple of different options. And dude, I've done so many of those, like, and I don't want to torture my audience with that shit. Cause dude, like sometimes when people do mocks, they're like, okay, well, let's see what position.
We were doing them in September.
So slow about it. And it's like
come on,
dude, you know what? We need safety. We need linebacker. We need pass. We need fucking everything. Like, it's real simple. What haven't you picked yet? What's the best guy at a position of need? Boom, boom. Like I can do those things so fast. It's scary. Like I can whip through them. Like I've probably, the first 4 to 5 rounds, I've got players.
Hey, Rickie, you drafting a guard or tackle in this draft?
Tackle, definitely not. I mean, not unless it's like super late to be a depth piece, but no, tackle we don't have to worry about for a while. A guard,
who's backup though? Because Max Mitchell, he was the dude. He's gone.
Yeah, I think we still got the kid that we got from the Steelers. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to
Simpson, like, all that stuff's up in the air.
Yeah, like, dude, I don't want to bring AVT back. Like, I'm telling you right now,
the injuries,
like his injury history, yeah, like
I'm with you.
And I think somebody's going to probably overpay him a lot based on potential, and I don't want that to be us. We could bring Simpson back, or I wouldn't be opposed to taking a really good guard with one of those picks. Yeah, like I like Ione. I like Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. There's a couple of guards in this class that I like. Personally, if it was me, I'd like to kind of concentrate on defense. But if we can move back from 16 or 33 and pick up some extra picks where we can fill more of those holes, I'd be awesome with that.
So if you don't mind, Rickie, if I know you're big on Dobbs and the quarterback too from Green Bay, like if that doesn't happen, how are we fixing the offense? Because you want to go heavy on defense in the draft.
I'll tell you what,
we got to fix the offense. The offense look awful.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. and I hate saying this, but and not trade for him. Like that's one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to trade for Mac Jones or the backup from Philly, or like I don't want to trade away assets to land a backup quarterback. Period. Now, if Arizona ends up cutting Kyler and he's just sitting there, we don't have to inherit that contract. We could just sign him. I would, if we couldn't get Willis, I would take him.
I'm not against it. I'm not against
not as a long-term answer, but
yeah,
as a bridge, yeah, I would probably do that.
Because then it's the commitment. That's my biggest thing, man. The video games or whatever, man. All these kids play video games, but then it's like, yo, is this guy like Peyton Manning? Is this guy like Brady? Where they're watching film, they're breaking stuff down. Now those are, you know, unique situations, but is Kyler Murray one of those nerds where he likes to study football, watch other teams, other defenses, and see what they do, look at different players on defense and look at their tendencies to where you know if they're in a cover, whatever, or if they're like you could read all this stuff out, and the only way you know this is by watching film in depth over and over and over, replaying everything back like 7, 8, 9 times per play. Like you're doing all that stuff. Is he this guy? That's what I'm worried about if we're talking about a bridge, because a bridge's whole role is to groom the next person coming up, and that's my only doubt with him.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's a good question, and I don't know. I don't know that he's necessarily that guy that's going to be like the football junkie that's going to be watching film all the time. I don't know if it was for not watching film necessarily, but I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. Like, let's just say that he has other interests outside of football that people are worried that he prioritizes. Like maybe, not mentally prepared, not always focused. Thank you, Luppy. That's a good way to say it. But I don't know, man. Like he's got some physical ability. Like he wouldn't be my top choice, but I don't know. Like, man, that's the tough part. Like, with Moore going back to school, which look, I don't think he was the answer necessarily anyway.
Yeah.
I think if he would have got drafted by us, we would have thrown him in the fire and it would have unraveled fairly quickly. So I don't blame him for his decision. Now, the whole thing of he went back to school because he didn't want to play for the Jets, that's bullshit. Like, dude, weeks before that game even happened, I heard several different people, Connor Rogers, Trevor Sikkema, people that I respect, that said it's really going to depend whether or not he wins the Natty. Like, that's what his decision is going to be based on. The same can be said of Mendoza and a couple other guys, Now, Johnny's guy in Miami, Carson Beck, he's already been in college for like 15 fucking years, so he couldn't stay anymore. But at any rate, like that, that whole thing's crazy. And the Trinidad Chambliss thing is, boy, he's putting on the boxing gloves and wanting to fucking really go to war with those people. He really wants to go back to college for another year, and it'll be interesting to see if he wins or not. I've seen
Rickie. I'm on the boat where we gotta draft a quarterback, man. If Simpson's that guy, okay.
I think we need to. I wouldn't take one high, but now
then what's it, Kyler Murray? But then you're saying bridge. So then who's the bridge? Who's underneath Kyler? How are we getting this person?
Yeah. Now, my thought would be like, I mean, if Nussmeier's sitting there at 33, I would be tempted to take him.
But that's what I'm saying. We have to draft a quarterback. Where? I don't care. We have to draft one.
Oh, listen, we're going to draft one. It's just going to be a matter of, is it early or is it late?
Yeah. Okay. I just want to see where you was at.
Yeah. Like if Nussmeier's there at 33, I would take him. Now, if not, there aren't really other guys that I like at the top. So it would probably be, fifth round taking a dart throw at, say, Sawyer Robertson or Cade Klubnik or a guy like that, late. And then at worst, if he doesn't develop, you got a long-term backup. So, all right. We got another caller. I'm going to bring this guy on with us too. Devin, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Rickie. What's good, Chef
What's
Kev?
good, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, bro. I'm good, man. It's a little down in VA, a little cold right now, but you know what? I'm loving this conversation. The convo was beautiful, bro. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate a different take. I appreciate, hearing different perspectives. I appreciate hearing ideas without somebody saying somebody's idea is dumb, because nobody really knows, what everything is. Now, Chef Kev, I don't understand. You and I are not in the same boat. I'm more close to the BG positivity boat in terms of Glenn, man.
You're all the way there.
I love Glenn.
You
bro.
got a Fields jersey,
bro. I do.
Wait, what was it? Whose jersey?
Justin
I know,
Fields,
Rickie.
bro.
You probably got like 5 of them.
Dude, you know what? No, I don't have 5. I do have one, and it's one of the few purchases that I regret.
Me too, man. Me too. And it was not cheap. It was not. You know what it was, man? I just had a feeling. I was like, yo, I love AG. AG is really, I don't think, the reason it's not just that because he's a Jet, man. AG is a really smart dude, bro. I don't think he gets enough credit for that, man. Nah, for real, bro. No,
Stop
for
with
real,
the truth, then, man. Come on.
No,
we was having
bro.
a good conversation.
No, bro. Like he is an intelligent dude, man. I mean, it ain't going right. But a lot of that is personnel, man. You know what I mean? And you know what I respect about him too? If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out on my sword. So you know what? And as the truther, and I've said this, and I will say it again. 3-14 is not acceptable next year. You know what? If we don't get at least at a minimum for me, it's like probably like 8 wins. Like that's my bar. After you have this off season of having the ability to have almost $100 million in a salary cap, and then you have the picks that you have, bro. If we can't win 8 games, then you got to go. So
right.
that's where I'm gonna go.
I'm at 7, but I'm right there with you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I mean 7 could be possibly acceptable depending on how 7 looks. You know what I'm saying?
Where are those 7 coming from, though? Where are the 7 coming from? You guys seen the division? The division. Call me a Debbie Downer. I don't care. 0-6 in the division, man. These teams are stacked, and they're only getting better. We're in disarray. Okay. We don't have the coordinators right now, so you can't honestly say like, "Yo, we're gonna get all these wins." Look at the rest,
dude.
But look at Miami. Rebuild. Buffalo lost their coach, and I'm not convinced that like Buffalo's squad is like all that to begin with. That's why Josh Allen got bounced. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only real threat to us is the Patriots, which is legit. You know what I'm saying? But like,
you know what? Let me interject there though, because I'm sorry if the Patriots were playing anybody but CJ Stroud and one of the quarterbacks we had this year, they don't win that last game. Like, dude, Drake May looked very human in that game. Yeah. And in the Texans game, they were fucking lighting his ass up. Dude, I'm sorry, but
if Bo Nix played, they probably win.
I think their defense saved his ass, and I feel like they kind of backed their way into the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But they did, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Rickie, it's rough for me too, bro. My homeboy, right? Like one of my really good friends, like he's from Maine. He's a diehard Patriots fan. And every time I got to tell him, I'm like, yo, when he won Sunday, I was like, yo, congratulations, bro. But I still hate your fucking team. You know what I'm saying? Like I will never root for your team. He knows that. And every year we got to watch at least one Patriot Jet game together. So, it ain't been good for me, bro. So I'm this whole Glenn truther. I want to win, bro. I just want to win. I'm tired of losing, but I don't want to go through another regime all over again. Let me just see what the dude could do. And then the thing, like, it's really understated, bro. Like, this man wants to be in this job, so he is doing everything humanly possible to be successful. So I gotta give credit to that. But again, I don't get 8 wins. I'm gonna be questioning stuff. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the draft, brother, I want Ruben Bain at 2. I want Ruben Bain at 2. And here's if we get Frank Wright as our quarterback, as our offensive coordinator, I hope in like at pick at the latest the second pick in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I really think Drew Aller is gonna be something that if somebody could get him right in the head, he could be a good talent, bro. Like he reminds me of. They say everything about him. If you think about when Allen was coming out of South Dakota, everybody the same thing they're saying about him. Inaccurate. He's got a cannon for an arm, but he's inaccurate.
Wyoming,
Can't see. I mean Wyoming, yeah. Can't read defenses, all this stuff. Well, coaching helps. So that's where the key is. But I want me a 6'5" big dude that I don't want no fragile quarterback, man. And if it's not him, then I take Nussmeier. But Nussmeier is like 6'2", right? He's like, I think he's that small.
I think he's 6'3". We'll see what actually we should be getting official measurements for them since he's at the Senior Bowl, so we should be getting those. But yeah, I wouldn't mind Nussmeier. Like, dude, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I know that he didn't have a great year this year, but dude played with like a abdominal injury. Like,
yeah,
dude, I can't even imagine that. Like, as fans, we sit there and we hear these words like ACL, Achilles, whatever. But a lot of us, they're just words to us. Like, we haven't been through that. Let me tell you what, I strained a hamstring at work a couple of weeks ago, and that shit hurt. And I was still going and pulling 12-hour shifts, limping around on it. And it sucked, man. It was rough. So, dude, I couldn't imagine being out there and having to torque your body, throwing balls downfield with an abdominal injury and taking hits. Like
I do like him though, man. And here's the thing, like that it's like I don't understand how we go from year to year, because if Nussmeier would have came out last year, he would have been a first-round pick, hands down. Everybody said that. So what do we think? Like, he reads defenses real well. He's the son of a coach. I would take him. You know what I mean? I would take him. I don't want him. I don't want any quarterback we draft starting. It wouldn't even if we'd have got, even if Dante Moore would have came out. I know we all said he'd have been thrown into fire because people have been worried about their jobs, but I just don't want anybody starting. And the bridge situation, that's going to be really pivotal for us. Like what quarterback we get in here. If I don't know, do you have a favorite that you would like to see come in here for the bridge?
If it was me, yeah, I would probably, which I've said this before, but since you might not have heard it, I'll repeat it again. If it was me, I wouldn't mind seeing Malik Willis come in here, the kid from Green Bay. And if I had my way, what I would do is I would bring him and Romeo Dobbs both in. Keep them together. They've already got chemistry. You don't got to wait for them to develop. That solves our bridge problem, and we don't have to worry about a receiver early in the draft, and that opens up a lot of other possibilities. That would be my perfect plan. Now, whether they could
that would be pretty sweet. That would be real sweet, because then we'll have another receiver, then we'll have a quarterback, and we can go heavy in the defense, and then next year we could go get not Carnell Tate. Is it Carnell Tate? The kid from Jeremiah Smith. Yeah, Carnell Tate is coming out this year. Jeremiah Smith next year from Ohio State. Oh yeah, that would be a good look. That would be a good look. And
that would be nasty. And if the quarterback class is really as deep as everybody says it's going to be next year, then fine. Say Arch comes out, he'll probably go number 1 because his last name is Manning. But you're going to have more. You're going to have Darian Mensah, who was my number 2 quarterback this year, who I really like. Jaden Mayava, who I also like from USC. You could end up having CJ Carr. Like, it could end up being a deep class where, wow, the Jets say the Jets win 6 or 7 games, we're like picking 7 or 8 or 10 or something like that. But then the Colts end up sucking next year, and that pick from them becomes an even higher pick than that. Boom, you get Jeremiah with that, and then use our own pick and get our quarterback, be it Mensa, Maava, insert the guy with the M name, Moore, whoever, and good to go, man. Like, yeah, that would be my perfect scenario. So we'll see how it develops and stuff. But like, if it was me, dude, if I was the Jets, I would be playing like used car salesman right now. I would be calling these free agents and go, look, there's going to be other teams that need help that are going to be offering the same money that we are, but they don't have 7 picks in the top 50 over the next 2 years. We can build something really special here, and you can be a part of that. And dude, same thing with Willis and Dobbs. I would talk to them and say, like, dude, listen, we want to bring you in, but we want to bring him in with you. We want to keep you guys together. And I would use that as a selling point. And yeah, I mean,
that's not a bad room with having. You have Dobbs, you got Garrett, and then you got AD
Mitchell.
Yeah, that's a good room, man. And if we could, and if Arian Smith can just develop for some, you know what? A couple of things that really, like the Tanner Engstrand thing. So I was just out talking to this dude that's a Buffalo fan, and I was talking to him about. I was like, yo, Engstrand, his passing concepts were really good, and like he had dudes open, but his run game sucked. You know what I mean? Like I specifically remember, I forgot who it was, but it was like 3rd and inches, and we were running a stretch play, and we could and this is before what's the name got hurt. I'm like, dude, this dude falls forward for 3 yards. Allen falls forward for 3 yards. You just push that damn ball up the middle. That used to drive me nuts, man. It was driving me nuts, and I was just like, yo, this is so. I would have kept Engstrand. I would like to see him stay and have him and see him develop. But I think it would have been a good idea if he would have humbled himself and say, hey, look, I'm gonna step back behind, let Frank Wright come in here. I'm gonna learn some stuff. This dude's been doing it longer than I have. And then next year he could either get another coordinator position, or maybe Frank gets another job and then he can step up. But sometimes these dudes' egos are too big, and like he wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't ready because our offense had a lot of problems, and no quarterback developed underneath him. Like Justin Fields was terrible. Agreed 100%. But there should have been like something manageable. Use his strength, roll him out, do something like that he could do well. You know what I mean? I didn't really see that.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Passing wise, he was able to scheme to get guys open, but the run game, it was lacking, and it wasn't the play. It was just like the play calling, like the way they called the run game. I wasn't really a fan of. I'll agree with you there for sure. Jay, knock that off. No fire AG talk. Actually, you can say whatever you want. I don't care.
Can we just I don't understand why we keep going there with that, man. Like he's not going anywhere, bro. We got him for at least another year. Like, why we just can't focus the energy on into the team? You know what I mean? Like, if we suck, like, yeah, it's gonna suck for everybody. It's not just gonna suck for the AG truthers, you know what I'm saying, or the people that's been saying fire him. Like, it's gonna suck for everybody that's called himself a JETS fan. You know what I mean? So let's put our energy into something that's to say, like, all right, let's hope for the best. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get that. I don't get that. I really don't get that. Like, it's not happening. Like, why we keep focusing on that?
Yeah, I know. It seems kind of counterproductive. It's a big waste of time. He's not going anywhere, for now. So the way I look at it, might as well get behind him, wish for the best, and let's hope he can turn this thing around. And it's not just that he's a former Jet, but that is part of it. But dude, like, he wants to be here. Like, sure, we can get another coach. They may come here for the money, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, it matters to him, just like it matters to us. And I would rather have somebody that wants to be here, and I really wish him the best. But yeah, you won't hear a lot of fire AG talk out of me because I think there's plenty enough other channels that keep that well covered. I don't need to go there too, and I try to be positive. You know,
I appreciate that.
I want nothing but the best for the team, and I hope AG succeeds. And
Yeah. And the other thing too, I was thinking about Rickie, like all these other guys. Oh, we should have brought Harbaugh in. I'm like, Harbaugh had Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, and he couldn't get them to the Super Bowl. What the hell you think he's gonna do with a lesser team and no quarterback and who he's gonna develop? And he was about to get fired when he had Flacco. Lamar Jackson actually saved his ass, and people don't really think about that because that same year that Lamar got drafted, his ass was was on a hot seat, and they were talking about getting rid of him, but then Lamar came in the second half and saved he saved him, and now he couldn't get him to the Super Bowl with Lamar. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't understand sometimes what people like. They get the names and stuff like that, and they just want to say what other people are saying. I'm just like, are you processing this? Like, you think Baltimore were just like, oh yeah, we're gonna let a good head coach go because he's just why would they do that? Good head coaches are hard to find.
Yeah, I agree, and like, listen, man, it's no surprise that he went to the Giants. Like, look at that Giants defensive line; they're ferocious. Like, dude, Brian Burns, and yes, I'm a Florida State fan, so I like Brian Burns, but dude, he's a beast. So I mean, and they've got some pieces in place, so I get it, and we need to come away from this draft with some good and free agency with some good players. We need to fix some of these holes, and hopefully we get these coordinator hires right, and we can start turning this thing around. Like, AG said, hold on to the rope. Well, I'm holding on. Hopefully I don't get drug over the coals holding on to this thing, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't want to get no rope burns, bro. But because it's getting hard, to hold on. But I'm still here.
It is, but and the thing is like, I always kind of knew that last year was going to be somewhat of a rebuilding year. Like, but I didn't think the turnover was going to be as bad. But dude, when I really watch things down the stretch, and like, yes, we all know Michael Clements not good. We all know Tony Adams isn't good, but I don't know if it was the change in scheme, the loss of CJ Mosley, if it's a combination of things, but dude, like, Quincy Williams really regressed this year. Yeah. And early in the year, I was making videos saying, like, we should bring him back. Like, we've got all this money. We can afford to pay him too. But dude, I'll tell you what, after that Jacksonville game, I was like, man, I'll go up there and pack his bags for him. Like I'm ready for him to fucking go.
Yeah.
And
both of them, man.
Yeah,
both our linebackers was terrible.
It was aggravating, man. And dude, just watching ETN from Jacksonville, like, running past, like, they just seemed to target Quincy, and it was brutal, man. Like, it was embarrassing for me as a fan. Like, if I was him, I would have been embarrassed. And the other thing too was, like, I remember, like, during the season, I'm like watching, and they're showing, like, the players showing up for the game, and it was the week that we wore those rivalry jerseys, right? And Quincy shows up with, like, this Joker makeup on, like Batman and shit, and I'm like, it's December. Why is this fool in Halloween makeup? And then when I really sat back and thought about it, I was like, oh, Gotham football, the Joker, like, but dude, like, there was nothing about rivalry jerseys that said Gotham. Like, it had the manhole cover and shit. But I'm like, you know what? This fool needs to worry more about what he's doing on the field instead of showing up in some stupid fucking getup. So they'll put him on TV. And that shit just really irritated me. Like, dude, you know what? When your team is like a 2-14 team, you don't show up for the game in fucking Halloween makeup. Like, what are we even doing right here? And it pissed me off. Like, I don't know. Like there's certain things that irritated me, and There was another one. I can't remember exactly who it was, but somebody that got like a flag for an excessive celebration. I'm like, why are you guys celebrating like little personal victories in a game where we're getting our ass handed to us?
Right.
Like the only time I want to see you idiots celebrating is when we get a W on the board. Like, so I don't know. It's just there's a lot of that. And at the beginning of the year, like if you were to talk to Aaron Glenn right now, he would probably tell you like quit is not a word in my vocabulary. And I guarantee you at the beginning of this year, he would have thought the same thing about the majority of the guys on this roster. But he learned that there's guys that they got some quit in them. And towards the end of the year, there was the game where he came out right after the game and said it was an effort problem. And then a couple of days later, he walked it back. Like when he first made that statement, I'm like, dude, listen, JJ and Malachi Moore, there were some guys out there that were playing their ass off. I don't think that's fair. And I think that he realized that same thing too. But dude, there were some effort problems from some guys. And honestly, I blame Robert Saleh for that. I think that I think when guys fucked up in the past, he went, hey, it's okay, babe, we'll get them next time, and pat on the back, and it was all okay. And he like gave him that.
What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Have him do push-ups?
Yeah.
No, what AG said was, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit your ass. And then you had Quincy talking about, I got to earn my starting job back. You know what I mean? I'm focusing on earning my starting job back. Okay, and that's the right message to send. You know what?
Absolutely.
Everything is going to be earned around here. You're not just going to be entitled to anything. Yeah, that kind of irritated me as well, bro. Like we stinking right now, and you want to just loaf off. You know, I do think, you know, your boy. I do think around, speaking of JJ, I think it's going to be a good year for him, man. I think that Achilles is going to be back. It's going to be healed. Like people forgot who he was, man. Like he did not have a great season, but I also think he needed to be rotated this year because he was not. You know, his mindset is that of a warrior, so he doesn't never want to come out, and he is never going to say, "Take me out the game." But I think for his sake, it should have been recognized that, like, let him get on a rotation, build that energy. You know what I mean? Build that stamina back up. But I think this year, he gonna remind us of who he is, and you put him and Bane on the other side. I want a 4-3, man. I don't think we have the personnel and to run that 3-4. And Briggs, I want two of him. You know, Briggs was amazing. I heard your stat, and you pointed out about how good he was, and I could see it on. I didn't know the stats, but I could see my eyes told me was he was a difference maker in the middle. You know, and I want to see another. I want another body like that. I like Phillips, but he is stout against the run, but we're not getting any penetration with him. And either we need to be able to get some blitzers and stuff like that. We just didn't blitz, man. We just. On our blitz were predictable. It was just so predictable. It's like everybody could see it coming, and there was nothing disguised. And it's just like, come on, man, this is terrible. So, but
and there wasn't nearly enough of it. I said that earlier. I told Chef Kev that earlier, man. Like we got two undersized linebackers. The best thing about them is their speed, and we don't never blitz them. But hopefully the change in coordinator and change in scheme will correct that. So, man, dude, fingers crossed. That's all I can say. I'm right there with you, holding on to that rope. Hopefully we can nail these hires and have a good draft and a good free agency and get this thing turned around, man, because we've been waiting for a while, and I hope AG is the guy to do it. But yeah, man, it's been tough. There's still one more football game to be played before this year is finally over with and in the books for good, and we can get on to the off season where where supposedly we always win, but we'll see. You know, that if there was ever a year we need to win the off season, it's this one.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on, Rickie, man. I really appreciate it, man. Appreciate chopping it up with you, bro. I appreciate your positivity, man. And I'm gonna keep checking in with you. I'm gonna keep staying here. You know what I mean? I love it, man. I love your takes. I love your perspective, bro. And your draft knowledge is pretty impressive as well, brother. I'm gonna say that these dudes, like, you throw names out there, I'm like, I gotta go do a little research now. Gotta go check some
Right
stuff
on.
out.
You know what? I usually I've been putting the link in the description, but there's another YouTube channel. It's JWAC Gridiron, and dude, he does really, really good player breakdowns. I know if you look at some of my older videos, like the last couple of weeks, you'll probably see the link there, and you can just click on it and go right to them. But really, really good in-depth draft knowledge. So if you want some draft info, check those out. It's definitely worth a watch. But dude, appreciate you calling in, man. And yeah, trying to keep it positive and make this the place where the Jets fans come to feel better. We get enough negativity other places. I try to keep it positive. So, man, fingers crossed. But appreciate you calling in, man. And don't be a stranger. It's good talking to you.
No doubt, brother. Have a good night, man.
All right, you too. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and wind this thing down for tonight. But yeah, man, I try to be positive here. We get enough negativity other places, but we'll see what happens. All we can do is hope for the best. AG's not going anywhere. So rather than waste my time yelling about let's fire somebody that, we know ain't getting fired, I'd rather focus on the positive and hopefully they can get this thing turned around. But I appreciate all you guys. As always, everybody have a good night. And until next time, like always, go Jets.
Thank you. Good night. We love you all.
And I will see you guys on Saturday night. And Saturday night at 8 p.m., we will be back. And this Saturday, we'll be doing our drawing for the signed Garrett Wilson helmet. So the winner will be announced on Saturday's show. And I will see you all then. Have a good night, everyone.